Alright, welcome to another episode of Big Bun Game Club. I am joined by Charles yet again, talking about Stealth Bastard, or Bastard. I tried.
It's bastard, like
Bastard.
like a sheep, like
Bastard.
Yes.
Okay.
How you doing? My fucking allergies are killing me right now.
Well,
So we might.
well, I just got my second shot yesterday for the COVID vaccine.
Oh really?
So all I'm feeling, everyone is saying like, oh, it really fucks you up. It just like you're gonna be slammed. All I've been feeling is like a very light fever and hungry. I'm hungry all the time. Like I could just eat.
I don't know if that's a side effect of the COVID vaccine.
I don't know. Like I'm never this hungry though. Like usually it's like okay, maybe I'll eat some lunch, whatever. But it's like I've just been like, it's like I'm running on empty the whole time.
I was gonna say, are you just feeling like kind of tired?
I mean, it could be tired, but I'm just mostly hungry. Like it's just hunger is the major thing. The only time they got really bad was last night. I was trying to sleep, and that time I felt like I was on fire, but I was also comfortable as well in my bed at the same time. So it was like a paradox of like the two extremes.
Right, you're getting like chills. That's the worst when you're like cold but you're sweating or something.
Yeah, but it's not.
That's like the worst type of fever.
But it's not as bad as like I don't know. Like I guess I went in expecting like it to be way worse, and it's like it's just like that's how it feels like with everything. Everyone tells me all these things. Oh, getting filling sucks. Oh, they're gonna drill your teeth. Oh, it's awful. And it's like no, it's just whatever. Same thing with the wisdom teeth. It's like it's a horrible thing. It's like they just pulled it out and that was it.
Yeah.
I had only one tooth, so it wasn't. So I mean, it wasn't four. It was only one.
Yeah, I had my wisdom teeth out, but I didn't get Did you get knocked out, or did they just do it?
They I don't. They either gave me Novocaine or they gave me nothing. It's one of those. I honestly can't remember.
They had to have numbed you. So what I'm saying is, so they definitely didn't knock you out, though.
Yeah,
right?
no, they didn't knock me out. I was awake the whole thing. There was one time I was doing I think it was just a crown or something. No, I think it was a filling, whatever. And they didn't give me anything at all, and they just did the whole operation. I was like, what the fuck? But
were you like, does this hurts like a bitch or what?
It didn't hurt at all, like because it was like I think what it was like a light filling that they wanted to do. Like it wasn't like a major like operation that they were doing. It was just probably like they probably thought that we could just do it quickly. It's not gonna be a big deal, and that was it. But
yeah, everyone hypes up everything. Like they're like, oh, it's like people just want to have something to talk about to make a big deal out of.
Yeah,
but
I think it's either that or it's just to psych people out to go in expecting the worst, and then they just like, oh, it's not bad. It could be that, but there's also a lot of hypochondriacs on top of that. Like
that's true.
I hear a lot of stories like where my mom would tell me like, oh, this person that got a vaccine, she was telling me, oh, she can't get up, oh, there's all this other stuff. And it's like, okay, it's like silly shit.
I got the Johnson & Johnson vaccine like 3 weeks ago, so I'm all set to go. And the only side effects I had is like I had like I was kind of tired a little bit, and like I went for a walk like the next morning, and I was like sweating, but I was like I shouldn't be sweating, so I like probably had like a very light fever. But other than that, I'm fine. So
all right. Well, anyways, with Stealth Bastard, it's a great game. That's it. So I made it to the 5th world, I think. There's one part in that general world I got stuck on. They start introducing these platforms that move through the sensors. And I think what I have to do with this, I have to like time my jump enough for the platform to go all the way to the left. And hit the switch. But I just suck at the timing. And I think that has to be it. I mean, the game gave me, the only hit it gives me is like improve your reflexes. And just telling me that kind of shit. So like, I think I'm on the right track. I just haven't been getting it.
Yeah, I actually beat that. I'm in the 8th world.
Oh.
Yeah. There's a lot of like there was a lot of stages that I got stuck on, but I was like, this is fun, so I kept playing. So I like cruised through a bunch of the game. I don't remember when, a couple days ago. Um, so I'm like close to the end. But yeah, that moving platform stuff is fun. I don't remember what level I got stuck on, but there are a few that are like you have to time. Like there's certain ones where you have to time the jump, where like you jump on top of it and then you have to jump off of it to launch yourself in the air. Have you been doing some of that stuff yet?
No, and I think, and I suck at that kind of stuff, so I think I might just be hitting a wall because if it needs like that
No,
technical stuff, I don't think I'll be able to do it.
Theo, come on, man.
I'll keep trying, but I mean the other issue, well, not the issue, but I played it earlier last week and then I kind of fell off it because I just got stuck playing Persona and then Nier Replicant came out Friday that
Oh,
I
you
wanted
got
to play, yeah. And that one was fun, so I've been just putting my time into that. So I didn't really put
okay.
enough time in Stealth Bastard, but
God
uh,
damn it, Theo! You have disrespected the sacred bun club.
well, shit happens. That's like not all the time Cleo gets a carrot. Sometimes she has to make do with pellets and hay.
Ah, fair enough. So it sounds like since last week you've only played one world. Then
I think I beat the one I was on the last episode, and
yeah,
then I did a little bit of the next one because I was trying to get I was trying to just do enough every day, but that one world I'm stuck on is just it's like I just want to take a break and just go back to it, and then I never went back to it.
yeah.
But I'm probably gonna go.
God damn it.
I'll try again this coming week, but these puzzles I'm just starting to dread that they're gonna add all this other stuff moving forward. Like it's like I said before, like there were just stuff that they added that it's like, okay, this is fun, but I know where this might be going by the end. And then here it's like, oh, here's this. And they go, yep, it's gonna be doing
So
more of
I
this.
will say sometimes the levels are easier than you think they are. Like sometimes you think you're supposed to do one thing, and I can think of a specific level, but you haven't. It's like way further than where you are. But there was a specific level where I kept trying to do something. I probably tried it like 100 times, and that wasn't the right answer. I figured it out, and the reason I figured it out, and maybe you should look at this too. The names of the stages sometimes give you a hint as to what you should be doing.
Okay. Oh,
So
I'll have to look at that. It's just
yeah,
usually it's like that, and then the also just the commentary that they just put in as well also gives you hints too.
right.
That's why I think like I'm on the right track of what I'm trying to do. It's just the timing is way too specific for me to get.
Yeah, yeah. I like what I'm saying though is that I feel like sometimes there's a challenge, but it's never that hard,
Mm.
right? It's like it's hard enough. It's like challenging enough, but it's never like you never have to be that precise. So you might be going about it the wrong way
Yeah, I might be overthinking it too. Like,
because there's misdirects where it's like you could finish it this way and maybe you could do it, but then it's like there's a way easier way to do it. And that happened to me a few times when I was like screwing up and I was like, oh wait, this would be a way easier way to accomplish the same thing. So sometimes you gotta look around.
yeah, just like Catherine, it's just some of these puzzles. They throw so much information that you think, oh, it's this big convoluted thing, but it's like, no, you just have to like do this very simple thing that you're not seeing. Like I think in that same world you get like a movable column, and I think maybe that's like I have to use that somehow, but it's I'll have to like see I'll have to try that game again.
Yeah. Um Something that's interesting is have you noticed that you play 8 stages, but have you noticed that it always says you finished 8 out of 10?
No.
Oh, well it says you finished 8 out of 10, so I think there's gonna be secret levels after we beat it. So I think there's
Okay.
much more left in the game.
That's that's interesting. But I'm just curious to see how you would get to the secret worlds because I don't know if it's like, oh, you beat the game, here's the secret worlds, or it's like there's collectibles you have to get or a special
Well,
time or
yeah.
something.
there's definitely those like hourglass things. So I don't know what they're gonna do, but yeah, I guess we'll see.
Yeah. It's interesting to me. I've not raged at this game as much. Like it's not like Bloodstained that was driving me up the wall in some cases. This, it's like okay, I'm stumped, and it's more of just like it does like better. It does feel like it's more user end than like oh I'm not just doing the timing just right. But there is, I do think there is some uh I don't want to say like but dropped inputs, but there's sometimes where like I feel like I'm jumping and it doesn't jump when I either want him to or it's a delayed jump or not
Dude, I
as
think your
wide.
PlayStation 4 is broken.
Yeah, probably has to be it.
Is there like is there an input tester on PlayStation?
I think there is, but I don't know how good it is because it might just be like, oh, are the buttons working? Okay, they work. Goodbye. It's like I
You
don't
should.
know if it's a like they give you like numbers to tell you the sensitivity or whatever
Latency.
or latency. Yeah,
Yeah, I want to see if there's a latency timer to see if you just because like you've been saying this with both these games, so
yeah,
sounds like
but it's not as bad as Bloodstain though. Bloodstain is like way worse because like this
yeah.
one it's like it's happening very infrequently and it's like it's not even like oh it's either the controller or whatever. Like a lot of the deaths are my own, but I just feel there are just some like rare instances of that happening. But that could just be me too, because sometimes I think when you're playing a game and you get really into it, you're not really thinking of like, oh, when am I actually jumping or something.
Right.
So it could just be that too.
Yeah. All right. So it sounds like we don't have much new to report about this game. So let's hear about what else you've been playing. Like, what do you think about? I'm actually very interested in Nier Replicant. What's that like?
That
Because
uh,
so first thing I want to say is okay. I've only played Nier Automata, however you say that. But I've heard that the rest of the series is nothing like that game. Is that accurate?
pretty much like what's really weird, and I like there's a game called the Drakengard, which I think there's three of these games, and Drakengard also ties into Nier's story and lore.
Mm-hmm.
Nier Replicant kind of ties in like way before Automata's timeline. I think what Replicant kind of focuses more on setting wise is kind of uh the curse that wiped out humanity. So you're gonna see a lot more humans this time
Mm-hmm.
around. There's no robots, there's no androids or anything like that. The
Mm-hmm.
thing I'm really liking is there's music that is from Automata that is completely done differently in this game. Like there's like little hints of those songs that they just redone. And then there's characters that are from not from Automata, but Automata has these characters like Popula and uh, Devila. These were robots that they introduced in the third campaign of Nier Automata. They introduced those two characters much later on. These are just robots at this point, but here they're actually like people, and it's like one's a librarian, one plays guitar, and that's pretty much it. Uh, so I'm just
Isn't
uh-huh.
is it Replicant? Isn't it a remake of the original game or something?
It is a remake of Nier Replicant. There so
Wait, so the game was called Near Replicant, and they just remade it and just
yeah
re-released it called
yeah.
Near Replicant. Okay.
It had a weird gimmick too. There were two games that came out at the same time. One for PS3, one for 360. PS3 got Nier Gestalt, and 360 got Nier Replicant. So who knows if they're gonna remake it on Gestalt at this point? But there's that. Then there's just normal Nier, and then there's Nier Automata, and there's this. I don't know how all these tie in. I kind of have like an idea of what Replicant's gonna tie into with Automata,
Wait a
but
second. You skimmed over this. What's the difference between Replicant and Gestalt? Are they two different games completely?
yeah, they're two different characters. The you play as Gestalt and Nier Gestalt, but I don't know because like this was before I was even interested in this franchise. Like I got in through Automata because I played a demo and I was like, oh, this game is like rad. It changes like perspective, all this stuff. And then I like look back and it's like, oh, there was Gestalt and Replicant. I don't know much about those as much. Same with like Drakengard. I played Drakengard 3 a little bit, but that game just plays so shitty. That game needs to be remade because the frame rate can drop all the way to like single digits sometimes. It just feels very unpolished.
How do they release a game like that?
I don't know. And the DLC is ridiculous. There's like 5 DLCs and they're all like $5 each. And it's like
Yeah.
no.
I'm still stuck on this Gestalt versus replicant thing because is it like the difference between like Pokemon Red and Blue, or is it like completely fucking different games?
Let's see. I'm gonna do some research on this.
Because why did they release 2 different games? And like does this remake have both of them in it?
I don't think it has both of them in it for the remake.
Mm.
Replicant was the original version of the game, with the Gestalt version created due to the pressure from the American branch of Square Enix, supplementary material released in Japan based on Replicant. So it just kind of sounds like Gestalt was just kind of like a enhanced version of Replicant.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong, but that's what it sounds like.
It's like the difference between Ninja Gaiden and Ninja Gaiden Black, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know, like Yoko Taro is like a crazy developer. He, like, has all his games almost make no sense. Almost, they have like this very thin thread that ties them all together. I feel because like they also tell stories through their item descriptions as well. Like you go to an item shop and it's like, oh, I want to buy this sword. Do you and it just straight up asks you, do you want to know about the sword or do you want to know the story of the sword? And it's like, oh, okay, like that's nice. I just don't want to read all the time, but it's there's a line of reading that I draw. Like Control had some good like reading, but then it's like I don't want to read all this. I'm done. Just go through the game. Same thing Death Stranding. They had all these emails, and it's like I don't want to read all these emails. I just want to play the game. So I'll try to read some of the weapon stuff, but it's like if it's too much, nah.
I want to understand how much money like when they make a video game and they do all this writing and shit and do all these cutscenes. How much of the budget is that? And how much better would the games be if they just said fuck all of that and just put it all into gameplay? Just stop it. Video game stories stink. I don't need them. I want to play the game.
It's interesting because I think with Replica there's not a lot of cutscenes. There's some cutscenes in it, but a lot of the stories it's kind of like it's kind of tedious at the beginning because it has you just doing a lot of questing. Like, oh, go over here. Like, it's to the point where the game even calls it out. Like, you get a character named Weiss, which is a book that flies around with you, and you see this.
Okay.
You see this old lady that yells at you like, "Oh, come over here! I have a quest. I need a favor for you to do." And the book is like, "Ignore her. Just move on. I don't want to talk to her. Just move on. She's a fucking bitch. Whatever." And then I was like, "Now I'll talk to her." It's like, "All right, the fucking post office has not delivered any of my fucking mail. I want you to go to the post office and yell at them for me and get me my mail." And the book the whole time is like, "Don't do it. It's just a meaningless quest. Just fucking ignore it." And it was like, "Ah, now I'll do it." It's like, "Oh, fine." Like there's stuff in the game that I think is just tongue-in-cheek humor with a lot of other like stuff, video gamey stuff. Like there's a moment where you're trying to look for a fisherman, and the book just straight up says, "I could find the fisherman you're looking for immediately. I could do that." And then it's like, "Oh, okay." So the game asks you, "Oh, do you want to do it? Yes or no?" So I was like, "Yeah, I don't want to fucking search. Yeah, tell me where he is." And the book will just be like, "Oh my god, you humans are so lazy. You just want the easy answer. You don't have any interest in talking to anyone. Always throwing your habit onto others. That's a terrible habit." And then
this book sounds like an asshole.
The book is an asshole because then you go fishing, and then if you fail like 2 times, the game just says, "Okay, 2 days later," and you get a fish, and the book just says, "Wow, what a great fish! If only it only took you 278 tries." So I like some of the humor that Yoko Taro throws in to these games. Like Nier Automata also had this weird gimmick of by the end of the game you can decide either sacrifice your save file, and I think that helps everyone else or whatever. And I was like, "Nah, I'm keep my save file." And it's like, okay, I mean you're not helping anyone, So yeah, okay, yippee,
Fuck it.
fuck it.
Um, but so what's the gameplay style of this of Replicant?
It plays like Automata. It has like it's an hack and slash, but instead of like a dodge roll that you had in Automata, you have a parry instead.
Mm.
Uh, which is which is nice. I think it kind of still emulates a lot of stuff from Automata with the TPS like shooting mechanics and then just hack and slash kind of gameplay with it. I do like the enemies a little bit more in this one because it's a little bit more there's some variety with what they're doing as well with it. But there's also like these nice side quests as well that goes into it. Like it's more open world than Automata was. The only thing is that there's no fast travel, so you're gonna be walking everywhere. You're not gonna really be traveling quickly. Uh, but I only got like 5 hours in, so I'm not really deep into it.
Mm.
But I've enjoyed it. I think what I liked the most was the beginning of the game. You have all these abilities unlocked. You have like demonic shit pretty much. Like you have like a demon arm. You have like a area of effect ability. But then like they're okay. This is like early in the game. You're going back in time for the rest of the game for until that point. So the game kind of gives you an idea of like what you're going to be getting as you go through the game. Uh, like so you can see like what could be upgraded, what abilities you'll be getting over time. So I do like that it has more of an ability kind of side to it than just okay, your pod can only shoot. It can do more than that than what Automata did with the pod.
So why did I think, and maybe I just had bad information, why did I think this game was significantly different? It sounds kind of similar to.
Yeah, I don't know where you got that because I think the setting is significantly different than
Mm.
Automata. Because like it's more lived in. Like you see more like villages. You see like a mayor. You see it's more of like there's more stuff going on. While Automata, it's like you're kind of going around a dead area, and it's like okay,
Right,
there's just these robots, and that's it. So I think
right.
it's different in setting and tone, but gameplay wise on that level, it's pretty much the same. They just have slightly different things with the book uh and the open worldness of it.
But the book sounds just like the little robot you have in
Yeah,
the side.
it is, but it has more abilities than the robot. Because the robot
Mm.
just like you can only have it do uh projectile stuff. Like you can only shoot
Hmm.
lasers or whatever. While with the book you get a little bit more like you can summon spears, you can summon like an arm to like grab enemies, to throw enemies, that kind of stuff. But it's not like wholly different though. It's like minor tweaks. Like the only big improvement, not improvement, but change is probably just the parry that they give you.
Yeah. Um. All right. Maybe I'll check it out. Because I did like Automata. But oh, that's another thing though. Automata was developed by Platinum, wasn't it?
Yeah, this one I don't think it is by Platinum, but it does it. It still feels like it's Automata. Like it does a good job, kind of um continuing how that game felt.
Hmm.
Like it doesn't feel like oh it's clunky or anything like that. So like the only thing I heard from the original is that this game fixes a lot of the bugs that the original had when
Hmm.
it launched. So at least it's more of a I think it's more like a definitive remake of that game of that specific game.
Yeah. I wonder if the graphics are way better or anything like that.
I think I think I think they're on par with Automata.
Mm.
I think the only thing is that some of the textures that are like that doesn't linger. You're not gonna really notice that they're not as sharp, but it's not like
Hmm.
anything crazy.
Yeah.
But I did
So
also, huh? No, what were you
no,
gonna
go
say?
ahead.
Because I was gonna change games. I also got further in Persona 4. I don't know if you got any further. I got to this dungeon called Heaven, and it is just another pain in the ass of just grinding because I feel like with this game I'm never the right level. I'm always trailing behind of what the recommended
Yeah.
level is. Uh, because with Persona 3, I feel like I was under leveled for a while and then I caught up to where the game wanted me to be. And then this one is just every time I go to a new place, I'm always underleveled. Even when I try to go back to the previous dungeon to fight the other mini boss there, and it still feels like, oh, you're slightly underleveled. But I still was able to get through it all fine. But I had to sacrifice two of my party members to beat it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pick this game up again because I started playing. Last time we talked, I just not that big of a fan of it. Last time we talked, I started playing, and I started to do like the side dungeon for the video game quest, and I was like, I don't want to play this anymore. I just wish I could just skip over everything, like as far as the story goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna try to catch up to you because I'm probably like 4 hours away from you, if I could guess.
Yeah,
Because
probably.
you finished the video game thing.
Yeah, and I also finished the dungeon right after that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm
so
on.
you're probably you're probably a
Yeah.
lot farther than me then.
Yeah, I think I'm like, if I judge by the anime, I feel like I'm very close to the end
Yeah.
of this game. But again, I don't have golden, so I don't have any golden content that's after the main story.
Which I wanted to talk to you about this last week, but I completely forgot because you mentioned that you got a PS4, not a PS4, but a PS TV.
Yeah, I got
What's
that.
that about?
It is a platform that Sony made that the idea was like, oh, you can like stream movies, whatever, through connect your TV, go watch movies, whatever. You can like remote play your PS4 or your PlayStation 3, whatever. You can
Mm-hmm.
also play Vita games on it. So I was like saying there's like the only way I could probably get Persona 4 Golden, it was that in the first place. So I got it, but this device failed. It was a failed platform from Sony. Like, it didn't sell at all. It was just trash pretty much. But I was using it, and I think Sony fucked up. They should have made this platform have full backwards compatibility with PlayStation 1 and 2. Like, have the storefront sell PlayStation 1 and 2 games. And 3
Oh
games,
yeah.
why not? Whatever. But like, it only sells like PS1 and PSP and PlayStation Vita games. And it's like, these are nice, but like, I think there is a potential with it that if they had if you could buy PS2 games on it, I think it would have done way better than
Of
how
course.
it sold, because it's just that's the only way you could get some of these games anyway.
Yeah.
But Sony just also like kind of fucked up the Vita as well. They just dropped support of that as well. Like, they made a PlayStation 4 accessory pretty much as
Oh, because you
well.
can like play your stream on it, right?
Yeah, you can like stream PS4 games on it, and it's like, oh, okay, this is nice, but I mean, this is also a handheld that's supposed to compete with the 3DS,
Yeah.
and now it's like discontinued.
It's that PS TV seems nice just for the fact that you can stream though, because like if you don't want to move your PlayStation around, you could just
Yeah,
put like one of those in your room or whatever and then just play. Does it work
yeah,
like that, or am I making that up?
it does work like that. Because on the menu there's a PlayStation 4 Connect option, so it will
Hmm.
connect and you can play whatever's on there. So you can connect to any TV in the house,
Yeah.
and you can just access your PlayStation. That's
Yeah. So you
that.
move that little thing around instead of moving your whole console around. That's pretty
Yeah.
sweet.
And that's why I think like it has potential. It's just Sony just didn't wanted to do anything else, because I think they wanted mostly as a device to sell their PlayStation TV subscription service that they were doing for a while. I think it was
Is
like,
that not a thing anymore?
I think it's not anymore, but I don't know, because it was called PlayStation View. It could be, maybe it is. I don't know. It's just,
Oh yeah, I remember PlayStation. That was like a TV service.
yeah, like it bundles all these other channels and all this stuff. And I
When you
think,
said PlayStation TV, I thought you were saying like a streaming service for games.
no. That
Oh, okay.
the closest to
All
that
right.
would be PlayStation Now, which
Yes.
I heard is like it's gotten better since it launched, but I still think it's overpriced. It is like
Yeah.
way more than like Game Pass, and it's like, why would you get PlayStation Now when you could just get Game Pass for less? And you
I
can
don't know,
download
man.
games too on top of that. Like this one, like you can only stream it. It's like, oh well. I mean, that might be good for like the newer games, not for like PlayStation 3, probably.
Yeah. Um, Can you like just shove a Vita game right in it, or you have to buy it and download it or
You
something?
can. I have it right here actually, like right here. There's like a little
I
Vita
don't even know what
file.
a Vita is. It like a cartridge? What does a Vita game look like?
It's a cartridge. It's a I think it's like the same size as like those micro SD cards or so.
Oh, cool. So like, does the Vita? I don't really think I've ever seen a Vita. Does it have special hardware, or is it just like
It
twin stick, same kind of
it
setup?
it has twin sticks. It has like a touchpad on the back of the device, and the screen is I
Okay.
think is also a touch screen. But everyone loved it when it had an OLED screen, and then they removed the OLED later
Mm-hmm.
on, and everyone hated it after that. That kind of was like the kiss of death almost.
Yeah.
But
So for the touchscreen controls, do you use like the PlayStation 4 touchpad to mimic
I
that, or how do you?
I think so. I mean, you can use like the analog stick to navigate the menu, but the one thing that sucks about this device is the storefront. Because I typed in like Persona to get to Persona 4
Mhm.
Golden, and it all that showed up was like Twisted Metal, all these games that had
What?
nothing to do with the title. So I was like, okay, this, and I almost thought I wasted my money too. I was like, shit, is it like, because I thought it was gonna be like, oh, not all games are compatible with it. Only a select Vita games are compatible. I was like, oh shit, it's gonna suck ass. But then I typed in the full name, and then it showed up, and I was like, oh, okay, because like I had the same issue with the PlayStation 3 store. For some reason,
Yeah.
these stores just are not as good as they were in the past. In the past, they could just kind of like do a good job searching what you type. Now it's like you have to type the full name exactly, otherwise you're not gonna get what you're looking for.
Sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Um, why don't you just buy like a used game off the internet though? Like it's probably like half the price.
No, these have gone up in price, if anything, because like,
Really?
yeah, like the bids alone for Persona 4 Golden, I think, has gone up to $60 just to bid on it, and then to buy it now is like a couple hundred. Like
Is it a brand new game or is it used?
both, like they're both like overpriced because these carts are completely discontinued. Like they're not printing them at all anymore. So like the
Yeah.
good games are going up in price probably. Like Persona 4 Golden,
Yeah.
like it kind of dawned on me when I was streaming Persona 4. I was thinking about this, and I don't think anyone gave a shit about Persona 4 when it first came out. Like I've not heard as much of a fervor for it as Persona 4 Golden. As soon as that game came out, everyone just kept talking about Persona 4 Golden. Like it was like some gift from God. And it's like, oh, so I guess Golden is the better game. I don't know, whatever. Because I'm playing Persona 4, it's like it's this kind of a it doesn't get me as excited as I was playing the other Persona games I played before.
As far as I can tell, from the streams I've watched of you, it's like the same fucking game.
Yeah.
Like there's just like there's like that new character Marie, and that's it.
Yeah, I think well for the most part Golden is just a quality of life improvement to 4. Like you just added
Mhm.
stuff to it and they changed some of the way the mechanics worked for it.
Yeah, shuffle time is completely different
Yeah.
because I was like, "What is this shit?" when you were playing.
And the same thing
Um,
with I think like if you die, you have like a checkpoint to go back to or something. They give you something that you can just do within the dungeon. Because if you die in 4 at any point in the dungeon, you have to start the whole dungeon from the last save. Like you can't just go to
yeah, let
a
me think about this. Have I ever died? Yes. When you die, you just get to retry right from the last place you died at.
yeah, that doesn't happen in 4. So you can go like
Yeah,
5 levels in, die, and then have to do the 5 levels again, which
yeah.
sucked.
I might be insane, but I kind of like that better.
I
Like,
I
if
think
I have no fear of dying, like if I just die and I get to try right again, I'm like, okay, why do I give a fuck?
uh,
You know what I mean?
yeah, but I guess to me it's like you could do so much progress in just one run, and then if you die, you cannot do the same progress again because a lot of it is all RNG. Like you're either gonna get like enemies that you can have an answer to, or these enemies just happen to get like I had a persona that was like really good. I died, and I never got that persona ever again. And it's like, and that pissed me off the whole time. I was like, this persona was great, and I can't get this persona back now.
Here's the thing that Persona does that's dumb. Because okay, and this is where it kills the tension. Well, not kills the tension, but I hate that you can always leave. You can leave the dungeon at any time, save, and go back, right? And you can restart from the floor you were last on. Can you do that in the regular Persona 4?
If you have an item, you can. Or if you go to like the
So
boss
you-
floor, you can. Like if you go to the boss floor, there's a save room there or whatever, and you can teleport there directly. Only if you make it there.
Wait, there aren't. As far as I can tell, there's no save rooms in the dungeon.
Well, no, like I'm saying, like right before the boss, there's like a little like save station, like right before the door.
What? I've never noticed this. It might be different because that was the thing that I was like, because traditionally, right, you go through a dungeon, like in most RPGs, like turn-based RPGs, you go through a dungeon and there's always a save point right before the boss. So the whole point is like saving all of your resources to make sure you get all the way through the dungeon so you can get to your save point. And then you can try to fight the boss. But like in this game, it's like, all right, I'm out of resources. I'm just going to leave the dungeon. So tell me if it works this way. When you leave the dungeon, you can go back and say, it'll like, let's say I get to floor 3. When I go back, it's like, do you want to start on floor 3 or do you want to start from the beginning? It doesn't do that for you?
No. You start from the first floor.
No matter what happens
No
if
matter
you leave
what.
the dungeon.
No matter what. The only way you can do that is if you have an item. There's an item
Okay,
called the Go-Ho.
But wait, but that's what I'm saying. So that thing is what makes you leave. You can leave the dungeon.
Yeah, but there's only a certain amount that you have. Like I
have a million of them.
I have like 8.
Like I get them all the time. I probably have like 20 of them. And then you can have a spell that kicks you out of dungeon anyway too.
Yeah. But that doesn't like you can't teleport back to her. Yeah, but yeah, they do have that.
Right. So you leave the dungeon and when you go back you have to start from the bottom floor.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean unless you have an item, like that Go-Ho item. That's like the only thing. But like
that's the confusing part to me. In Persona 4 Golden, this means they changed everything about how this item works. Because in Golden, you use that to get out of the dungeon.
Yeah, well, it does take you out. It takes you out, but
yeah,
is just that's the only way you can start at that 4 again.
Okay, so it does work the same way.
Yeah.
Okay, so it works the same way. You leave the dungeon, so you could just fuck up. You can just suck the whole time. This is my problem with this game. You can suck the whole time, just use everything, and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna die. You leave the dungeon and save, and then you just come back the next day and you just go start on the same floor. So it's like there's no tension with like, and this is what annoys me about this game, is there's no tension of like, I need to survive this entire dungeon, otherwise I'm fucked.
I think the
you just leave whatever you want.
Well, I think the idea is that it wants you to manage between doing the S-Link stuff and other shit like that with all that all together. But if you're like just favoring just the dungeons itself, it's like okay, fuck it. But because I've just been doing the S-Links and that's been kind of eating my time sometimes.
Yeah, but that's my point. That fucking shit stinks. It's like you'd go and it's like, who do I want to talk to today? All right, I'm going to talk to this person. Who gives a fuck? Like it's not like gameplay. It's literally just like I'm going to spend time with this person because I want this S-Link to be a lot bigger. Like who gives a shit?
Well, the persona evolves and it can learn another ability.
Who gives a fuck? It's like I gotta sit through all this shitty anime writing just to see this meter go up one. Like it's just, and the whole point of it is like you fuse your personas, and then that you get a bonus from it.
Yeah, like a lot of XP.
This game is easy as fuck, and it pisses me off.
Well, then,
I'm sorry, no insult to you, Theo, but like. As an RPG, it just stinks.
Well, play vanilla Persona 4. It's great. You'll love it way more.
Maybe, but
though I think
I have no interest.
I think you might like. I think 3 might be a little bit better, even though like the way the party works is kind of bullshit because it's all AI for the party. But if you linger on a floor too long, a Reaper will show up, and that's like an overpowered enemy that will just wreck you as well. there's stuff like that. The only thing that's easy in that game are like the story bosses, because like those they only give you like one day to do them, pretty much. And it's like, okay, this is like interesting. It's just I think the answer part of Persona 3 is like stupidly hard. Like they just don't coordinate the enemies at all. Like sometimes it's like, oh, this enemy is weak to fire, but he has fire evade, and he'll always evade fire. Like 99% of the time. So there's no point of like capitalizing on the weakness. And they'll just dump you. It's like, all right, 100 damage, you're done. Or like 500.
If the game has the same thing where I can just escape the dungeon at any time, then like it's like I'm exploiting the game, but I'm not really. But it's like it's a feature of the game that makes it too easy. Because anytime that I'm like, oh, I'm going to die, I just leave.
It's funny because in Persona 5, they have the same item, like they have the Goho, and I see no point in using that item in that game because they have save rooms in that game, and if you go to the save room, you can just teleport to the save room immediately,
right,
or to the exit, whatever. And it's like, okay, like why would I have to go home? I could just run to a save room, teleport out, and leave. The only thing is that I think if you're playing that game fresh, it might be a little bit more challenging because I think Persona 5 does a better job kind of crunching the deadline. Like it kind of gives you a variable deadline. Sometimes it gives you 20 days, sometimes 10, sometimes 5 or whatever. Well, not 5, but it gives you a little bit more of like a variety of like days. But I don't know. I think 5 is a way better game than 4 because that one has a grinding dungeon, but that one like also like ties into the story a little bit by the end of the game. But the more you go, the harder it gets. The floors change. Like sometimes, like it's completely dark. You can't see anything. You have to like kind of drive carefully through this labyrinth, pretty much. And then they added a new labyrinth in this game where they just throw in a lot of high level enemies at you. It's like, oh, this one has no weakness and it does like super damage to you. Like these are like end game enemies that you just throw at you. So it's like, oh, okay, like this is at least a little bit more of a challenge that you could just kind of favor buffs and debuffs.
Yeah.
But I do think that RPG fans may not like Persona though. I think it's more of a
well, I told you about this the first time I started playing it, and it's like I looked it up. I was like, I think this game sucks, and I'm like, let me find out like what the sentiment of this game is. And everything I read was like the JRPG sections of this game are the worst part, and I'm like, wait, that's what the entire game is. So what the fuck? This game does suck. Like if you're not talking about the JRPG parts of it, what are we talking about? The parts where you just talk to people?
Yeah, like everyone loves the dating simulator.
But nothing happens. You literally just say, "I'm going to talk to this person now," and then this meter goes up, or it'll be like, "Oh, you're not going to be close enough yet." So it's like now I have to talk to him again the next day.
But so the meter it gives you buffs like Chie can learn how to endure an attack, or like she'll like sacrifice herself for you, like.
Right, but it's just an abstraction. It's just instead of having like a skill tree or something where you decide it's like I have to talk to people so these skills get enhanced.
Yeah.
But there's no gameplay there. It's just talking to people. It's just I'm going to talk to this person today. It's like what's the point? It's not fun.
Because it's the character stories are really good, Charles. You just have to like understand. Sometimes like
I want to talk to one of these fucking people who love this game and understand what the fuck they're talking about. Because if the JRPG sections suck, then that means the game sucks.
Right?
Like,
I don't know. The people I've talked to, at least, they love everything about this game. Like they just love the gameplay. The only thing I've heard people say is they hate Marie in Golden.
Well, she's she's the additional part of Golden. Like, and then I guess you can make friends with this different guy, which I spoiled the game for myself because the dude that's the murderer, you can be his friend in the second one, in Golden.
Oh, wow, that's just... They kind of did that in 5 as well. There's a character that's just like Adachi in 5, and then when they did the re-release, you could do like an S-Link with him. pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So, like they gave like usually they just give you that S-Link through the story, through whatever. But now it's like, oh, you can hang out with him, play pool with him, and it's like, oh, okay, like.
Which, thinking about that, and part of this makes me want to like finish the game because that character, I don't. It's gonna be some stupid contrived twist that makes no sense for him to be the murderer because he's just a bumbling moron.
It's all an act. He's pretending to be a bumbling idiot.
Exactly. I'm gonna watch that and I'm gonna want to throw a shoe through the TV because it's gonna be so fucking dumb.
Like I just remember in the anime, I think that like when they go to that reveal, I think he just straight up says, "Yeah, I just been giving you these hints because I want you to like figure it out or whatever." Like it was some bullshit like that. It's like, oh, okay, like.
I'm still very bothered with how much they don't, how not seriously they're taking the fact that there's murderers, and it's like, and the fact that they're not just like, hey, dad or uncle, whatever, I'm going into the TV and fighting monsters. Like, who does this? Like, that's not normal, kid.
Well, he has to come to terms with that. It's all part of the experience.
It doesn't make any sense. And it's like, everyone knows about this Midnight Channel thing. How has no one else been like, these kids are on TV fighting monsters?
Well, they might not be seeing that part, and they might have like a doubt, like, oh, this might just be scripted. Because I think they said specifically that all these people that are talking about it, they're not like fully believing it's real. It's like, it's just a show. Oh,
yeah,
whatever.
But wouldn't it be like, hey, Chie, I saw you kicking monsters in the TV last night. What was that about? Like, what?
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
Like, especially when they see like their shadow selves or whatever. Like the intro of each dungeon, they see that intro where it's like, oh, come to my castle and I'll pick a bachelor or whatever. It's like, this doesn't go anywhere. No one talks about this.
That's what I'm saying. Everyone's watching it, but no one's talking about it. It's nonsense.
I think they did only one time with the Yukiko dungeon, because I think.
Oh yeah, because they were like, she's gonna show her boobies,
yeah.
And that like no one thinks this is weird.
Stupid. A lot of the writing is weird, and it's even weird. There's like a meme where it's like they have those dogs, like they have all these like Chad dogs, like, oh, this Persona game is about this, whatever. And like, oh, Persona 5 is like the sad dog. Oh, this one, like, oh, gay people are scary, whatever. It's like, none of these games wrote any of these characters well in the first place. Like, 5 isn't the first or the last to do that. Like,
yeah.
And I would argue that 4 is a little bit worse than 5. But even 5 has its own issues.
Yeah.
Because it's also weird, like, they have a character that deals with, like, sexual harassment. And it's like, oh, well, your rebellious form or whatever the like your other personality. Oh, she's like in a dominatrix outfit, and it's like, so she got like sexually abused, and she's like, her true self is a dominatrix. Like, I guess it's owning up to the sexuality, but it's like a little too much on the nose.
There's a lot of really questionable shit. I don't know when Persona 5 was created, but Persona 4, I guess, was like 2003 or 2004, right?
2008, I think.
Was it? Holy shit.
Yeah. Because, like, I think...
There's lots of very questionable shit that happens in it that's like, this is almost pedophile shit. Like, especially that teacher that gets killed. Like, he's a complete dirtbag.
Yeah. Dude, like, even the new teacher, I hate that character. Like... Between him and the old teacher, between those two teachers, they're awful. Like, I hate these characters.
Yeah. Wait a second. And then the teacher that's always wearing the King Tut, the woman, and she's like basically like hitting on the student. She's like, get the question right, and like, you come over. And I'm like, what the fuck is this?
I don't think it's that teacher. I think it's another teacher. It's the one that replaces King Moron. I think, because that one.
Oh. He's just a pedophile, but to men.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then like,
you're right.
And then there's like a part in the story that they do like a beauty pageant kind of shit, and it is the weirdest part of the story, and I couldn't stand it. So the teacher was like,
"Have I not seen this part yet?"
No, I don't think you have. Okay. it's awful. It's such an awkward scene. Like the teacher gets jealous of kids. Like I'm gonna beat them in like my looks, and they're not gonna. It's like what the fuck are you talking about? And then it's like Teddy shows up, and it's like, oh, since I won the last contest, I demand that the girls' competition will be a swimsuit competition. And it's like they didn't plan for this at all. Just this kid just tells the school we're doing a swimsuit competition, and the teacher's like, oh, yeah, let's do a swimsuit competition.
What the fuck, dude? And Yosuke's a sexual predator.
Yeah. Again, like,
he's just like
Teddy is way worse. I think Teddy is way worse than Yosuke. Yosuke is like he just does sexual shit but just doesn't know any better. He's just a fucking idiot. Well, Teddy just actively does like pervy shit, and it's like, whoops, whatever. I mean, like it's all trash.
It would make more. I would more likely give Teddy a pass because he's a stuffed animal that somehow metamorphosized a human body. But actually, maybe he shouldn't get the benefit of the doubt.
He hangs out with all these characters, and they all tell him like, "Fucking stop!" And he's like, "I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna keep going." It's like, oh, okay, this dude is like at least like the mascot character in 5, like all he does is thirst on one of the main characters. But like they tell him to stop and he stops, and he just kind of, and that's it. It doesn't go anywhere more than just like him just being like, oh hi lady on, oh what's up, and that's it. Like it's nothing like, all right, we're gonna like do some fucked up shit and play it up as a joke. It's I don't know. 4 I think is just, it's weird. Atlas just has a lot of shenanigans with how they write certain characters too. Like it's not the first time. Because in 3, there's a part where they make a joke where the main characters are trying to hit on all these ladies at a beach, and they see one that's like super horny, and then like that person, you later find out, oh, that person was actually a man the whole time. Like it was like a trans person. So they were all like a trans person, so like horny and weird, and it's like, oh, of course, it's so fucking. But at least that was like 1 second, and then that was it. Like it kind of moved on after that. 4 just does it way worse. Like 4 just kind of, I would argue 4 kind of taints the series a little bit. With
it's the tone. Just it's the fact that they do these things and they do it so casually, like it's not, like it's just normal. Where it's like Yosuke, for instance, is like, hey girls, like take your tops off, and it's like, Yosuke, stop it. It's like, this guy is a foaming at the mouth sexual predator. Get him out of here.
Yeah, and there's no like comeuppance for it either. Like it's not like, okay, he does this and then something bad happens to them later.
Yeah.
And then when something does happen that's like a comeuppance, it's like, no, that's different. That's not relevant. It's like, what?
Yeah. So lots of questionable shit. I'm surprised people don't have like backlash over this game.
Well, it's not that.
Actually, you know what's funny? I saw an article about Nier Replicant, and it was like 8 pages long about how like one of the achievements of it was like transphobic or something and unnecessary.
Yeah, because the thing is like you're trying to like tilt the camera like up.
Yeah.
All that, but like they did that with Automata as well. Like, if you keep like trying to look up 2B's skirt, it will give you a trophy. That is whatever though. I don't know.
Yeah, it was like a 9-page article about like this stupid joke achievement, and then meanwhile, Persona 3 is getting away with just like stereotyping the shit out of people with no recourse.
Well, I think I know, because I have heard some pushback with 4 because of like Naoto's character. It's it doesn't really go anywhere. Just people just arguing about it. Like there's a debate about Naoto's character. Like, oh, is she a trans character? It's like, well, no. It's about her accepting that she's like a woman in a male society. But it's like, well, yeah, but like her character kind of leans to like a trans story almost. It's like, no. See, it's about her being okay with herself, being a woman. It's like, I don't know. Like a lot of stuff is written in a way that's just like, it's debatable, and it's always like, I get what it's trying to say, but I just don't think it's like interesting. Like I just don't like a lot of what 4 does. Like, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say it's like a lot of stuff is on the nose, except like, for instance, what's the dude's name? The one that's like, he's like the tough guy.
Oh, Kanji.
And he's supposed to be. What's his name?
Kanji.
Kanji. Kanji is like, it's like, why didn't they just make him gay instead of like he's like kind of not gay but he is gay? Like just make him gay.
Yeah, like, and it doesn't even pay off because he doesn't.
Stupid.
None of these characters develop at all with this. Like, he learns to be okay with his like feminine side or whatever, but then after that, he is still embarrassed about it. So it's like he
That's
was
what
still
I'm
the
saying.
same.
It's like, is
yeah.
he gay or not?
Well, no, it's not about him being gay. It's just him being sensitive. He has sensitive hobbies like art, because apparently art is a sensitive hobby, which I don't like. I don't know. It's just fucking weird with this shit. Like, that's why like in 5, it's a little bit more interesting because it's more like these characters get driven to oh, fuck this, I had enough, fuck it, and then they just awaken to their persona, and it's like a badass scene. Well, 4, it's like it wants to teach acceptance, but they don't accept themselves after the fact. Like, Naoto doesn't change how she dresses after she's okay with being a woman after that.
Yeah.
Like, and the worst is Yukiko, because her S-Link is all about her, like, I want to break free, I want to, like, do other shit. And then by the end, I actually decided I think it's gonna be cool being here. I don't want to like leave. And it's like, then what was the point? What is the point? Like, the whole idea and design of it was, oh, her persona is like a bird in a cage because she feels like she's trapped, but now she doesn't want to leave. So it's like,
yeah, it's all stupid.
yeah, you know, I think these games just cannot compete with Balan Wonderworld.
I heard this game is fucking terrible, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty rough. It advertises a free demo, but there is no free demo anymore. It's like they pulled it from the store.
Because it's so bad.
Yeah, because it damaged the game so bad that it's like no one wanted to buy it after the fact. It is.
I saw a Dunkey had a video on it. I saw like after every level you like do a dance, so it's like some weird human character.
Yeah,
that like looks super uncanny.
I watched a person stream this game, and it was refreshing because it wasn't like, oh, this game sucks. It was more of just like they were enjoying how odd the game was, and it was just like, I mean, it just pretty much said like this game isn't worth 60, but like just look at what you're experiencing with this. It's so fucking stupid, but it's like, oh, okay,
it's bizarre.
Cool. Yeah. But what I just don't understand is that this was packaged with my nier replicant game. And I'm like, I don't know why they market this game with an M-rated game. Like, oh, you're playing a game that's like about killing and death and all this shit. Check out Balan.
Yeah.
But
dude, I like that game came out of nowhere. It had like a huge marketing campaign.
Yeah, because
and then come to find out it's terrible.
Yeah, it's sad because it's from the guy who did Sonic. And he was like, "Oh, this will like be my big comeback," and it's like, "Oh, no, it failed." And now it's
Naka?
I think so. I mean,
oh my god, that's so sad. Wait, this makes me so sad. Maybe Sonic does suck.
Because I think he said, and it was also like Square made a deal with him saying, if this game doesn't do good, we're not producing any other games from you.
Oh my god, it is Yuji Naka. This is so sad. No.
Well, everyone falls from greatness. I mean, Miyamoto made Super Mario Sunshine. Kojima made MGS4. I mean, everyone
Mario
falls.
Sunshine sucks?
I didn't like it as much as the other Mario games.
Oh my god, are you serious? I heard it's great.
I think it's good aesthetically. There's one like level you have to do where they take away the water pack, and it's like this guy is like, I'm a chuckster, and he just throws you randomly, and you have to like angle him to throw you where you need to go, and it is so hard. Half the time he'll just throw you off to your death, and you have to start the whole level again. So it's like,
don't trash a game just because you suck at it. Come on now.
Everyone sucked at it. Dunkey did a video on it too, so check that out.
But I mean, just because one bad section doesn't ruin the entire game.
Well, it's multiple sections. That's pretty rough. Like, there's a sandbird part where you're trying to climb a sandbird, and it's like awful. I don't know. The game is just pretty rough. But speaking of Dunkey, he did a video, and this one I think made me a hater a little bit because he made some dumbass points
What game was
It
it?
was Resident Evil. And I couldn't tell if he was just like if this was an April Fool's video, it would make more sense as a joke because
I watched it too. I don't think
well,
he
it was a genuine video because it came out like yesterday, but it was just him shitting on like, oh, these doors. There's so many doors you have to open, but it's like these are loading times. It's a GameCube game. Like, of course there's loading.
yeah, but at the same time, it's like that's why it's his opinion. So it's like I disagree with everything he said about Resident Evil being bad, but like that's just his opinion. Who gives a fuck?
I get
Like,
that. I get that's his opinion. It's just it's a really like I let him slide with Death Stranding because I could see like for the most part what he said. The except for that one time where he was like like fucking himself over by walking up a mountain and then just falling and saying, "Oh, see, I should have been able to walk up a mountain just fine." It's like
no,
no.
that was not okay. He was being sarcastic. I rewatched that video. He's not saying he should be able to get the mountain. He's saying he shouldn't even be able to be on the mountain like that in the first place. He's like, this is the dumbest. Why am I able to even do this? That's what he's saying.
Well, sometimes. Yeah, but like you
Yeah.
know, honestly, when I was playing that game, like doing that kind of helped me like get around way easier. Like
Yeah, but you
it was
shouldn't be able to do it.
it's about finessing the game to your benefit. But it's just
You
but even that like I could let that slide. It's just with Resident Evil there was like so many parts that were just like really dumb. Like he complains about a zombie writing a journal, but the whole story there is that he was writing a journal and then he turned as a zombie as he was writing it. So of course
oh
it's
yeah,
gonna be like fucking
itchy
stupid.
tasty is the most brilliant part of Resident Evil. Who cares what he's like? He just thinks it's dumb. Who cares?
Yeah. I mean, like that I will say is like a nitpick. It's just the doors complaint was really dumb, and then saying like, oh well, now there's sharks. It's like, well, it's a fucking Resident Evil. It's like corny as fuck. Like,
Yeah, I think he was joking about
yeah,
that. But like, who? It's like I think fixed camera angles and the doors, even without saying it's loading times, I think the door opening thing is brilliant because it adds to the tension.
yeah.
He thinks it's stupid. Who gives a shit what he says?
I can understand the fixed camera angle because I was playing Resident Evil 2, the original way back when, and there was a part where I was trying to run from a zombie, and as soon as I changed the camera angle, Leon changed direction because it just changes the perspective. Like there was something I did that like fucked up where I was going, and that just sucked. So I do hate so I do understand like the fixed camera angles can be like a pain. I've gotten better with them over time, but it's just like I get that stuff. It's just some of the complaints is just, it's just like I don't know why, but I was watching. I was like I was just kind of getting like mad. Usually it's like okay, this guy's just like whatever, but that for some reason that video just like struck with me.
How can you get mad about someone's opinion? Like it's his opinion, right?
Yeah.
So it's like who gives a shit what he says? Because if you just disagree with it, it's like I don't agree with that, but whatever. Like it's like he doesn't like fixed camera angles.
Yeah.
Okay, there's nothing you can do about that.
Well,
You're not gonna make fixed camera angles.
I think it's just that some of the opinions, some of his criticisms, I understood. And I was like, this is fine. Some of them, I just think that they were a little too nitpicky to be even considered. I don't know. Like, I'm not like super mad. It was just kind of like a dunk, but it was just a, I don't know, like that video. I just I didn't know what to expect from that video. I guess I just went in and I was like, oh man, I don't know, like. I can't describe it. I guess I can't describe what I was feeling. It was just something about it that made me like unsettled.
I get what you're saying, but I don't understand why you would feel any way about the way someone's opinion about something, right? It's like
yeah, I think maybe it's just that I took his opinion as like he is genuinely being like saying this sucks, like how stupid this is. Like I think to a point,
he is.
Yeah. So then, like, that's the problem. Like, the doors is such a dumb complaint. It's just dumb to begin with.
But it's like, I look at it, and it's like, he thinks the door is stupid. I don't agree with that. I think the doors make sense to be that way.
But it's for loading times. Like, what would be the option? Like, what would have fixed that design? And also, like, it's a backtracking game. Like, it's like playing Metroid and being like, oh, I have to backtrack this game? This game is pretty bad.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I disagree with your point too. I don't even think it needs to be attached to loading times for the door thing to make sense.
Yeah, but that's
I
what
think the doors.
But that's what it is anyway, though. It's a loading time.
But that's irrelevant, right? I still think that having the door animation is it because it's like the whole point of it. It's like a slow, methodical game, and like there's all this tension because you have to be like, oh shit, like is it worth going into this room right now? So
Yeah.
like I think the doors, even if it has nothing to do with the load times, I think it's a good idea.
Well, they were using what they could to make it. It's like, oh, we need loading times. Well, if you do an opening door sequence, it can add to the atmosphere, and it will just be like this thing altogether. Like it's a tool that was used for a means, and it's just like I just think that complaint is just a needless complaint about a game. Otherwise, like the fixed camera angles, I was fine. Like that's a fine criticism. But there was like and then he just started throwing in like the director's cut of Resident Evil with it, and it's like I don't know, like are we reviewing Resident Evil or the remake or the director's cut?
I think he's reviewing both.
I guess it's just I think it's just that maybe I'm just like confused with like what he was trying to review, because like it's just the tone. I think it's just the tone of that video is just so jarring from all his other videos, because it's like he reviews he reviews games, but he talks about that specific game. He doesn't combine other games with that might be slightly different. Like you're not gonna review like Persona 4 Golden and then talk about Persona 4. You're gonna be talking about Golden if you do a review on that.
Yeah, but I just who cares? Like again, like with something subjective, like you can't really care about someone's opinion about it because it's like for instance with Persona 4 Golden, I think it fucking sucks, but I want to understand why people like it, like because I don't get it.
I think it's because it has this aesthetic, because like the UI of 4 kind of like they did all this like crazy like color contrast with yellow and blue or yellow and black, whatever, and it's kind of like not conventional with menus almost. And then 5 just kind of pushed that even more, but like a lot of people just like how cute the game looks and like how cute the characters are, right, and all this stuff. Because I remember I was reading the Persona 4 art book, and they kind of talk about like, oh, with this game, we wanted the characters to be cute or whatever, while 3 was like more dark and like serious.
Right. So, but my point is that I'm never gonna give a fuck about how cute the game is. So it's like no one's ever gonna convince me that I'm gonna like Persona 4, but at least I understand why people like it. So It's the same thing with Dunkey with this thing. He hates fixed camera angles. I don't agree. We're never gonna agree. So who gives a shit?
No, well, I'm fine with his criticisms. It's just that I'm criticizing the criticisms. Like I mean I understand. I understand that he has a different opinion. I'm not saying like
you can't criticize a criticism unless it's something that's objectively true, right? Because it's like I think the fixed camera angles are good. So him saying this game is bad because of fixed camera angles is irrelevant to me because I think they're good. It's never going to be a check mark. Like that's never going to sway my opinion. Like he hates RPGs and I love them. Like he hates turn-based RPGs. I love them. So anything he says about a turn-based RPG is irrelevant.
Well, that I understand because he's talking about his experience with RPGs. That I understand because I was in the same boat. I didn't like care for RPGs. Tried an RPG and I liked it a little bit more. I don't know if I like the genre as a whole. I need to play more to get that judge. But I just think that some of the criticisms I just don't think they're necessarily fair. Like the doors, I just don't think is a fair criticism because you're just blaming the hardware.
Here's my point. Okay, let's say you want to watch like the Terminator movie, and then you're looking at reviews, but you're looking at a guy who reviews like art films, and he says Terminator sucks. You shouldn't watch it. It's a trash film. His opinion shouldn't matter to you because he's not going to like that type of movie anyway.
Yeah, well, Yeah, but if his criticisms are like about the film and how it's filmed or whatever, that's one thing. If he's saying, "Well, Arnold wears a jacket and it's pretty dumb," and it's like,
No,
"Well, it's
that's
cool."
not that's
Like if
that's
this,
not comparable.
or like, "Oh, this camera that they used, it's not as good as the camera that we have in 2021." It's like you're criticizing a movie that came out in the past, and you're saying, "Oh, the camera isn't as good as this camera." Like because yeah, like the
Mm,
camera angles I can understand. It's just the door complaint. It just it's not a fair criticism. Like the whole video, I could have been like, okay, this is fine. Like some of the points he made, I agree with, but it's just the doors. That criticism, I just think is just kind of a nitpick at most.
yeah, but even what you're saying is like you keep saying it's because of loading times, but then the complaint would just be loading times. So would that be a fair criticism?
Mm, I don't know it's a because like a PlayStation 1 and a GameCube games have long loading times anyway for even the best games. So I don't know. Like that I guess it's debatable because I guess it depends on the games that are out and what you're looking at with when it comes to loading times. So that I can give it to him on that one then. But I don't because then just say it's the loading times. I don't know. Like I just think that some of this stuff is just kind of a it bore. I guess what it is that I just felt that some of his criticisms were not necessarily fair, and then that was it. Like
Hmm.
I don't think the video is necessarily bad. I don't think it's his best video. I think he has other reviews that I liked a little bit more than that.
Yeah, but it's just like me saying how I think Persona 4 is stupid because I can just escape the dungeon at any time.
Yeah.
But someone that doesn't agree with my opinion, like my opinion on that type of gameplay, would say I don't like Final Fantasy VII because I can't escape the dungeon at any time, and we
Maybe.
just have the exact opposite opinion.
Yeah.
So we are never going to sway each other because we have the opposite opinion about what makes it good.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. I get that.
So it's like it's irrelevant. It's like you have to look at what he's saying, and it's like for someone that would agree with him, it's a valid criticism. For someone who disagrees with him, it makes no sense. So you just say, okay, check that off as something that I don't give a fuck about because I don't agree with that as being a criticism. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But it's still it's valid for people who think it's a valid criticism.
Well, I guess it's I think just reviews in general are is it subjective? That's like more
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm
yeah.
saying.
So I think this
It's
reviews are
subjective.
subjective.
Like
Yeah.
there are things that are objective. Like if the frame rate sucks, like you can just say this game sucks because the frame rate sucks, and you can't say, well, I think it's good still because it's like no, the frame rate sucks. So that's a valid criticism. That's objective.
Well, okay. You know what?
Everything else is subjective.
Play Deadly Premonition 2. The frame rate is so bad it's like a style in that game.
Fuck you.
It was funny. There was a video of Francis York Morgan like riding on a skateboard, and it was like going like 2 frames a second. Like it was like really bad, and people were like, "Oh, look at this game. The frames are like shit, perfect."
I don't understand how they can put out just completely broken games.
I don't know. Like I could look past it if it's like an indie game or like it's a small budget title. Like Dragon Guard 3, I can understand why it's the way that it is because I think this game was a very very like niche game and I don't think it had nearly a big budget for it. Um and they're just like, "Yeah, I'll just put it out." I wouldn't even be surprised if at some point Dragon Guard 3 was not supposed to come out to the West. Like maybe it was just going to be Japan only. And then like, oh, last minute they're like, "Oh, we could localize it. Why not?" But
But it's broken?
it it's playable, but it's just it is so janky for a PS3 game. Like it's so weird. I played it and it's like I had fun with it, but it's so like janky with it. It's rough a little bit.
Yeah.
The only thing is that like I heard you fly a dragon in that game, and that part the game gets unplayable to that point. I didn't make it that far. The part where I was like, I'm still like walking around land and just doing hack and slash shit, which is fine. but I just heard that that game specifically sucks when you start flying dragons.
Yeah. So it sounds like it's broken.
Yeah, yeah, probably. Like it
But
needs a remake.
you said you'd let it slide for low budget indie game. Technically, Deadly Premonition 2 is both of these things.
Yeah, I let it slide for Deadly Premonition. I mean, I liked
But,
one and I liked
but it's
two.
broken.
Yeah, but like I look at a game, if I could beat I'm fine with it. Like I can acknowledge that there's issues with it. I'm not saying that the frame rate's perfect, wouldn't have it any other way.
Doesn't it run at 20 frames a second?
Oh, I probably like
That's broken, man.
but I was able to beat it, so I mean it can't be that bad.
Fair enough. I don't know how if a game runs lower than 30 frames per second, I'm not playing it.
Well, I've grown up on the N64, PS2, where games kind of chugged along. So I'm like,
No way, dude. N64 games run 60 frames a second. I feel like every game runs 60 frames a second on N64.
Maybe I don't know because I feel like even like No More Heroes had some hiccups too, and that's still a great game.
You're way too forgiving, man.
If I have fun,
Broken
that's
shit.
yeah. Well, if I have fun, that's what matters. Like you're not gonna play a game if it's not fun. If I'm having fun, and to the point where I can like get through shit, that's one thing. Like man, I think
Does it hurt your brain to see when it's running at a low frame rate?
no. Like,
Dude, I can't. Sometimes it's like it's unbearable to like see like drop frames and stuff.
well, you play a lot more PC games, right?
Yeah,
So you probably have
yeah,
like you have more of like okay, you've seen more higher frames than I have. Like the most we've seen is like 30 to 60, and that's even if it runs at 30. Sometimes it dips to like 20.
yeah.
It's bizarre. Like
I mean,
there was like a frame test with the Yakuza Like a Dragon, and it's like the Xbox One version dipped in random parts for no reason. It's like
yeah. I mean, anything over 60 it's not. I can't tell the difference.
yeah.
But like I'm fine with even 30 frames a second. But like if it's lower than that, I just want to throw my head through a window.
I think honestly, I think that's why I dropped Drakengard 3. Actually, I played it for a bit and then I stopped playing it because I think that one did give me like a slight headache. It's just that I like this. I do like the story of it because you're pretty much killing gods. The whole like you play as a character named Zero and she's sisters with these other gods and they all like hate her because she has anger problems. And I just
Mhm.
love how she's like over the top, like just angry for no reason. Like she has a pet dragon, that dies, but then she's stuck with like the son of that dragon, and she's like telling the dragon that he sucks. He's like a piece of shit. He's like, you don't know anything. Shut up, piece of shit. Like just go away and don't. If you die, I wouldn't give a shit.
Right.
And Dragon's like, oh, whatever. I'm just gonna just chill, I guess, whatever. But it's just, I like the tone of the characters. It's just that the gameplay is just so rough. It's like I can't sit through this.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Going back to Deadly Premonition 2, isn't it a Switch exclusive?
Yeah,
That's probably why it's so broken, right? I bet
I don't know. I still think it would be broken even if it was on any other platform. Because
I
Night
don't know.
Premonition 1 was broken on PS3 as well.
Yeah, but not as bad as this one, as far as I've seen, right? Because
I don't know. I've heard it's been
like,
pretty bad on PS3 though. But I never played that one, so I can't tell. I can't say.
well, I played it on PC. It worked fine. Um, but I bet what they did with Deadly Premonition 2 is they just probably like made it an Unreal Engine, and then like they were just like, okay, we can port it to Switch, and it just didn't work because it's insane how much they had to cut back for the Switch version of Bloodstained, and it's
Oh
like
yeah.
not that. Have you seen the difference? It's shocking.
I did when the game came out, and I saw the differences. And I was like, oh, like it was
And
to the point where it was not playable because even some of the properties of the game didn't work the same.
it runs half the speed. It runs 30 frames per second, and they had to like decrease the quality so much.
Yeah.
And that game doesn't even look that demanding. So that's probably what happened with Deadly Premonition. They're like, they just didn't optimize it, and they're just like, fuck it, and that's why it runs so slow.
Yeah. Also, I think a lot of Japanese developers just don't get Unreal Engine either, because like a
Hmm.
lot of like once Suda 51 switched to Unreal, a lot of his games just were rough. Like Killer is Dead had a lot of gameplay issues because of the Unreal Engine, but
Hmm.
now it's like he's been using it for so long that he kind of gets the engine. I don't think they use a lot of Unreal in Japan. I think they just do their own engine.
Yeah, I don't
And
know.
well, I think
Too bad.
what do you
Oh
say?
no, go ahead. Sorry.
No, no. What
I,
you
I was just gonna say, too bad. Kojima got canned right after they created the Fox engine.
Oh yeah, that and he was like saying, "Oh, this engine is gonna make developing games way easy. It's gonna be great," and then that happens. But
Yeah.
but now he's using this engine from Guerrilla Games, which is a really good engine.
Mm.
I can't remember. I think it's like Decima engine. But that one I like that engine a lot because it kind of looks like the Fox engine, but
Mm.
it's very like fluid with its motion. So I really like that engine.
Yeah.
So it's a good trade up, I guess.
So is it time?
Yeah,
Solidus did nothing wrong.
Solid did nothing wrong. This was a hour and 21 minute episode.
Not bad.
Not bad.
I was feeling terrible too. Like I don't know if you could tell my voice is all scratchy. My allergies have been killing me the past couple weeks.
Oh
Like
man.
I wake up and my face is just puffy. I can't breathe. I'm
Oh
taking all
man.
types of drugs. I'm snorting Nasonex or whatever. I'm
I
eating
did,
vitamins.
I felt like shit last night. I woke up this morning, felt a little bit better. Uh, I woke up even earlier to go to the bathroom, and I didn't want to get out of bed because it was just I didn't want to. I was like, oh, this sucks, whatever. But anyways, after that, I was like, okay, I'll take a nap. Took a nap, and now I felt a little bit better. And I almost canceled this episode
Oh
because I
man.
thought I was gonna be like dizzy talking, or that I'm just gonna be hungry the whole time. I'm just not gonna have my thought like organized.
Right.
Uh, which I think is like I think my thoughts are still not as organized otherwise, but it's better than I was earlier. I would
Yeah.
say so. It's now I feel even better. I think I think I'm over it now. Now I can go around and hang out with people without a mask. I'm gonna just not if I go into a store and they ask me to put on a mask, I'm like, oh, I'm vaccinated.
I don't think that's
Don't
how
need
it works.
it. That's what everyone told me. I thought I didn't. Oh man.
Oh man, Theo's gonna get a citation. They're gonna throw Theo in jail.
I'll just say, what happened to my freedom? I will say my favorite meme. My favorite meme from 2020 was it showed a picture like 2020 they'll have you wear a mask. 2021 they'll have you wear a ball gag.
Oh my.
It's just like
All right. So and then that's Big Bun Game Club.
yeah, great way to end it. It was perfect. We sucked landing on that one. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.